Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it is time to hit first prestige here in Black Ops 7. Technically, I did it yesterday, but obviously we had a much more important video to go over yesterday, and we do have an update in regards to matchmaking here within Black Ops 7, which we will be covering later on, but it's sort of a tradition here on my channel for the 14 years I've been making videos to always show myself entering first prestige in pretty much every Call of Duty game, show my stats, give some tips and tricks, things like that, and just show how prestige mode works within the current Call of Duty game. It's something I first did back in 2011 with the original Modern Warfare 3, and I figured I would keep tradition alive here with Black Ops 7 despite all the issues that this game is currently going through. It's gotta be said, I'm very happy that prestige mode seems to be a staple within Call of Duty once again. We'll have to see if Infinity Ward takes it away yet again with Modern Warfare 4, because those visionaries over at that studio were the first people to be like, you know what, prestige mode's terrible, no one likes prestige mode, it's dated, we don't need it anymore. Then they got rid of it for like 5 straight years there, though thankfully Treyarch seems to have brought it back for good with Black Ops 6 and of course here with Black Ops 7. Prestiging in this game is very similar to last year. Once you hit level 55, you then go through that final level, and then you have the option to prestige. Back here in the main menu, it says Prestige 1 available, and from there you're presented with Enter Prestige after reaching max level to continue your progression journey in Black Ops 7. Each prestige includes rewards to earn as you progress, including operator skins, weapon blueprints, and more, though unfortunately this time around the rewards are not nearly as good as last year, which we will be covering in more detail later on. But next up we can see what's probably a bug in the game. It says weapon level reset, which has to be a bug or like some sort of like leftover text from one of the devs or something like that, because it's not true whatsoever. You do in fact keep all your weapon levels when you prestige, so if you saw that and you didn't prestige, maybe you're worried about that or something, fret not. It's just some laziness on the part of the developers, and I hope they fix it soon, because it may be swaying people from prestiging and staying at level 55, of which I've seen a lot of people staying at level 55, which is kind of weird to me. Like, prestige mode is one of those things that seemingly everybody likes to do, but what you actually lose when you prestige are your player levels and of course everything you unlocked as a result of them. Now from there, you keep all your progress with weapon levels, despite what it says right there. You keep all your challenge progress, your camo progress, and things like that, but obviously there is the downside of having everything be locked for you once again. It is worth mentioning that anything you received from maybe like a special edition of the game, the Vault Edition or whatever, or anytime you unlock something from a battle pass or in the future like an event or something like that, those blueprints and those unlocks will carry forward every time you prestige and always be available to you. So you hit like 5th prestige, for example, you got a gun from the battle pass, well, that gun's gonna be right there right away. That blueprint you got for whatever SMG, that's also gonna be there right away once you unlock them later on. With that all being said, it's finally time to prestige. The one interesting note is they added in that old iconic sound if you decide that prestiging is not right for you. Now what's interesting is right after I hit first prestige, for some reason it showed that prestige 2 is available, which I kind of get it, but it was really confusing to me at first, right? It might have been confusing for you guys as well. I just hit first, now suddenly it's like prestige 2 is available, which was actually a bug that we had back in Black Ops 6, but I think what they mean here is I can now reach prestige 2 so long as I go all the way through prestige 1. The instant reward you get is going to be the Echo Veil skin for Mason, which does actually look pretty good, as well as a permanent unlock token, and I beg all of you, I said it last year, I'm going to say it again this year, please do not waste your token on a freaking gun or a score streak or something silly like that, because in the long run, if you plan to continue to play Black Ops 7 and you plan to go through multiple prestiges and everything, you're going to be resetting your classes quite often and having a lot of things locked away from you. Because of that, I highly recommend taking something like the Ninja perk, which is damn near essential in this game in my own personal opinion, especially, I use it for everything, but if you're playing Search and Destroy, maybe Free-for-All, to a lesser extent Team Deathmatch, like that perk is so ridiculously powerful, it's downright needed with how sweaty the lobbies are right now, and you only unlock it at level 53. So if you don't permanently unlock it, if you don't use your very first permanent unlock on Ninja, then that means you're going to only use Ninja for like 2 or 3 levels per prestige, and it's genuinely one of the best perks in the game. So I definitely recommend doing that. Another good option would be taking something like the Perk Greed wildcard, because you don't unlock that until you're like in your mid 30s or something like that of your prestige, and it's a very powerful wildcard that can affect each and every one of your classes, and it's going to be more beneficial to you in the long term as compared to, grabbing your favorite assault rifle or something like that, then doing all the headshots on it and then not touching it because you're going for dark matter. Just don't take a gun, don't take a score streak, take something that you're going to use all the freaking time, be it a really good perk like Ninja that you have to wait until level 53 to normally get, or something like Perk Greed or something like that that's going to make your classes better. It kind of soften the blow of having lost so much every time you prestige. Now, on top of that, there are a few things to note about Prestige mode here within Black Ops 7. For starters, you now get access to a whole new set of challenges. Right now, we have the first Prestige challenges, and every time you Prestige, more and more challenges are going to unlock. Very similar to what we had last year with Black Ops 6. All of these challenges are going to give you a bunch of XP, as well as calling cards if you're able to complete them. A lot of this stuff you're just going to end up doing naturally, some things you may have to go out of your way to try to complete, but in general, it's pretty good XP, and if you're more of a completionist or just somebody who likes progression and grinding different things in video games, having access to more challenges is obviously going to be a good thing, and the more you Prestige, the more challenges you get and the more rewards you get. That's one thing I can't fault Black Ops 7 for, is they really added so much in this game for you to grind for. Some of it is just like adding on to what we had back during Black Ops 6, but there's also a bunch of things in this game that just weren't in Black Ops 6. They were likely held out of Black Ops 6 so they could later use them for this game, but there is a lot of progression so far, and that's one of the things that kind of like is getting people through all the crazy matchmaking that's been going on since the game came out a couple of days ago. On top of that, if you go to your stats category, you're now going to see your lifetime overall stats, and then you're going to have your stats just within your first Prestige itself. And if it's like Black Ops 6, then every time you Prestige, you're going to have like individual sets of stats, so you can kind of like track how you're doing as a player and kind of like seeing yourself improve. Like when I first hit first Prestige, I'm not even lying to you guys, man, like my stats are not that good because the game was downright sweaty, man. The lack of aim assist, plus all the packet burst, plus just the sweaty matchmaking in general, man, it was like, holy hell, like I'm going through the ringer here. But after hitting first Prestige, I started doing a little bit better and a little bit better, and I think part of that was having kind of like a stats reset almost on first Prestige. I'm like, okay, all this stuff's in the past, let's focus on right now, let's really try to get used to this matchmaking, let's really try to like see how the game is going and everything, and I'm doing better, though like I said in yesterday's video, man, it is not the casual experience that I think a lot of us thought that Black Ops 7 was going to be, whether it be, you know, them actually adding skill-based matchmaking back to the game or them increasing it from what it was back during the beta. I don't know, the game feels really freaking weird. And speaking of that, we do have an update officially from Treyarch in regards to the matchmaking, which I teased earlier, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. They took to Twitter to say, we've been keeping an eye on multiplayer matchmaking conversations and want to assure everyone of a few things. All of our open playlists use open matchmaking and persistent lobbies, and we will remain committed to that approach. Now, how long are they going to be doing that? I'm not entirely sure, but for right now, they're going to remain committed to that approach. Quick play uses the same open matchmaking where skill is minimally considered, talking about like quick play versus like the featured modes like the core mosh pit and things like that. And then the combination of quick play and persistent lobbies is new, which is, no, it's not. It's just how Call of Duty always was before you added skill-based matchmaking, and presents unique interactions that we are monitoring to improve over time. So it seems like Activision and Treyarch are doubling down on this idea that open matchmaking truly is open, though honestly it seems like half the community just really doesn't believe them because the opening days so far for Black Ops 7 have been pretty rough. I will say today, and it's all just anecdotal, like it's just, we can only go off our own personal experiences here, but today I haven't played a ton, but I'm doing a lot better than I was yesterday, and definitely a lot better than I was doing the day before. But packet burst is freaking rampant, man. Like I'm showing you guys some gameplay here. Every match, every lobby, doesn't matter if I reset my internet, reset my PC, restart the game, doesn't matter. Packet burst is just like 24/7. And do you guys notice the packet burst was only a thing that ever happened in COD once they added skill-based matchmaking? Like before that, we never had packet burst. It was really not that big of an issue, but then suddenly packet burst is freaking rampant, and it's definitely affecting me, and I'm curious to hear if it's affecting all of you guys down there in the comments. But here to get back to the topic of Prestige, if you're curious about leveling up quickly, I try to give people advice about that, but just the best advice I honestly have is to play an objective game mode like Domination, run UAV and counter UAV, because if you get the overclocks for them, I'm not even joking, man, you're getting UAVs and counter UAVs, they're like 2 or 3 kill streaks now. It's like ridiculously simple, especially if you play the objective, and that's a big part of it too, man. Play the objective, play a respawn game mode, do your challenges, call in your UAVs, call in your counter UAVs. Don't really like be camping back trying to like, you know, put big kill streaks or anything like that, because if you're sitting back, sure, your KD is going to improve, but oftentimes you're not going to be getting a whole bunch of XP, a whole bunch of kills, and a whole bunch of challenges completed, right? So how I've always kind of played COD is objective first, obviously. I'm usually a pretty aggressive player, and I want to help my team, so I run support streaks, UAVs, counter UAVs, things like that, and as a result, I typically am either number 1 or number 2 in the lobby in terms of score, and that definitely helped me prestige pretty quickly. I think it took like 8 hours to prestige or something like that, but a big part of that is double XP, man. Like double XP is pretty crazy here within Black Ops 7 because it's one of the few things that carried forward back from Black Ops 6. So if you played that game for any amount of time, you probably have a decent stockpile of XP tokens from last year, and all of it's available here within this game, right? So prestiging doesn't necessarily mean people are avoiding grass as much like they did last year, but eventually all those XP tokens are going to be used up, and people are going to probably start slowing down somewhere around like 3rd or 4th prestige, something like that. So as of yesterday, maybe 4% of the community has hit first prestige, and obviously that number is going to keep going up as the days and weeks roll by. But if it took me 8 hours with mostly double XP, including some zombie zombies there, which I've heard rumors that double XP in zombies is not working properly. I do not know, but that is a thing. Monitor it, maybe look into it before you pop a token while playing zombies. I would say, I don't know, man, like maybe it would take on average like 10 to 12 hours for a regular prestige. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm curious to hear what you guys think down there in the comments. Like, how long did it take you to prestige if you've already hit that? And I suppose to wrap the video up here today, the long and the short is Black Ops 7 prestige mode is virtually identical to Black Ops 6 in pretty much every way, except in my own humble opinion, the rewards aren't nearly as good. Like, I'm happy prestige mode is back and everything, but seeing the rewards that were inspired from World at War Zombies last year, for example, was freaking awesome. Or getting blueprints that mimic like the old STG or the old Tommy gun or the Black Ops 3 BMP, having an entire prestige dedicated to Nuketown or an entire prestige like themed around Black Ops Cold War. That was really cool. Like, that stuff was really interesting in Black Ops 6, and what we have here in Black Ops 7 really does not live up to that standard really whatsoever. So it does add a lot of rewards to the game because you essentially get something new every 10 levels, and each time you prestige, you get another permanent unlock token. Though one thing I would like them to do is maybe add 2 tokens per prestige, right? Not just for multiplayer, but multiplayer and then zombies, because there's only 10 prestiges in the game. So assuming you get Prestige Master, right, you only get a total of 10 unlock tokens, or whatever you want to call them. And between multiplayer and zombies, we're talking about like 40 different perks, well over a dozen field upgrades, dozens and dozens of weapons. Then you have all the wild cards, the multiplayer score streaks versus the zombie score streaks, and everything else, right? So I do think it would be nice if you got a token for both modes every time you prestiged. That way you could do some fun stuff in zombies as well as multiplayer. But hey, maybe that's just me. I'm curious to hear what you guys think down there in the comments. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be wrapping up this video here today. Again, the matchmaking is just so freaking weird so far here within Black Ops 7. I really don't know what to make of it. I mean, most of you in the comments of my last video are firmly in the camp that skill-based matchmaking is certainly back, and it does feel like that in a lot of ways. But then today, my matches were fine. They were relatively chilled, not nearly as many prestige people in my lobbies, but packet burst was freaking rampant, and also the lobbies kept disbanding, even though they're supposed to be persistent. I don't know if everyone's just like backing out now. Just, this is what I talked about going into the full launch of the game, man. I'm trying not to make the video too long here, but what I said was, even if they do have like proper open matchmaking, just like the good old days, just like the beta and everything, people are always going to question whether or not Activision is fucking bullshitting us, right? We're never going to be able to trust that company. We should never actually trust that company. And given their track record and how much they've invested and how many years that they have lied to us about skill-based matchmaking before eventually actually talking about it and NDAing their own employees and everything else, like, just, this company is so scummy and they've screwed over the player base so many times over so many years that just, it's impossible to trust them, right? So all we can do right now, I suppose, is just keep monitoring the entire situation, see how things feel. It could have been a situation of them adding skill-based matchmaking back for a little bit until people are finally past the refund period, so Activision isn't sending all these people back their money. Just, I don't know. There's a million possibilities right now. It's one of those things I think we're just gonna have to keep monitoring over the course of the coming days and weeks as we get further in to the full launch of Black Ops 7. But for right now, as is tradition, I want to show you guys my first prestige stats. It's kind of like how I'm doing now and how the game is progressing for me. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Definitely kind of a throwback style of video. Be sure to let me know your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.